we'll continue discussing approaches to language curriculum design. And in this regard, we will see now the processes of curriculum design. There are various processes which we can use for designing language curriculum. But initially, we are going to focus on opportunistic model, focused opportunistic model, and layers of necessity model. We will look at some of the salient characteristics, and we will see how both these models could be used or could be consulted for making decisions about the processes of language curriculum design. So let's begin with a focused opportunistic approach. Well, focused opportunistic approach mainly, deals with the format and the presentation of a part of the curriculum. It sort of ensures that whenever, for example, if you have a course to design or a subject to teach, so instead of doing needs analysis, instead of starting from the scratch or from the basics, what happens is the designer actually continues to think about some of the features of the curriculum which are realized, which evolves through when the course continues to progress. So format and presentation actually is carried out initially, and then if it is considered important, needs analysis is done later on. And similarly, if there is a need to conduct environment analysis, or if there is a need to decide about the content or the principles of a language curriculum, language teaching, they could be done at later stages. So focused opportunistic approach is an option for us, and while analyzing curriculum documents, we could see whether the curriculum designers have relied on this or drawn on this approach. Okay, well, there are certain limitations of focused opportunistic approach. One of the limitations is, for instance, if you have already started the course and you think you need to do environment analysis, it could be a wastage of time. Instead, you could have started with the environment analysis in other respects. And assessment, for example, if you think what sort of assessment to be included for the curriculum, whether summative or formative assessment. So if you think, and if such problem arise at later stages of the program, they might pose problems of wasting time and energy or resources. Let's have a look at the second one, which is layers of a necessity model. Well, as compared to the focused opportunistic model, this one deals with, this one looks at the curriculum process as something which is cyclical. And of course, this starts, from the basics. I mean, it lays emphasis on doing needs analysis, environment analysis, setting up goals, deciding about the principles, deciding about the format, and thinking of quality education and evaluation. But it could be done. I mean, these features of the components of the curriculum could be carried out at several stages, because each component of curriculum requires a different group of people with different interests. And yeah, so this is how, like, when you are doing curriculum design, if you employ this approach, you could think of, most important constraints. For example, you could think of whether you have enough time to do needs analysis, whether you have enough resources to develop situation or environment analysis. Um, the reason why this is considered to be important model, layers of necessity, by Nation and McAllister, is because this could be this could be employed in certain scenarios. For example, if a teacher doesn't have time and they are just into the classroom, they could, they could have something to something to consult. For example, they have needs analysis already done for them. They have goals for them. They have evaluation criteria for them. So this is how it meets the urgent necessities. And the layers of necessity model, has got its relevance for planning lessons, and deciding about assessment as well. So in brief, both these models, are important to understand here because they inform us about some of the key processes of language curriculum design.